Welcome, fellow Lions fans. What a frustrating weekend. Somehow Sam Darnold and the Vikings beat the Niners to go to 2-0. Matt Patricia somewhere is nodding his head, saying, yeah, it's really hard to beat Sam Darnold. Somehow Malik Willis won an NFL game for the Packers despite people vomiting all over the ball. And I don't know what Terry Arnold did to the refs that get so many ticky-tack PIs these first couple weeks. Maybe Terrion's banging all the refs' wives, which is great for him, but Terrion, stop banging all the refs' wives. You're costing us games here. The good news is we are fine from a health standpoint. We could be the Rams, who have about 35 starters out already. The Packers and Dolphins already have QB injuries. The Niners lost Debo and McCaffrey for weeks after having their first-round pick get shot. Just like Robert Saleh, who said he'd rather be 0-1 with Rodgers than 1-0 without. Likewise, I'd rather be 1-1 with a healthy team than 2-0 with half our guys smoking ayahuasca in a cave. I'm Jimmy Liao, University of Michigan Medical School grad, board-certified in family medicine. I'm doing the pod early this week on a Tuesday because Wednesday I'm heading to Arizona to get some sun, see some cacti, maybe catch a sporting event. One of my kids desperately wants to eat scorpion while we're there. I actually want to try one too. When I lived in Philly, there was a place just a few minute walk away from me where I could get live soft-shell crab. You coat that in flour, fry it up. It's delicious, and I'm thinking scorpion maybe tastes like that. I searched to see if anybody served scorpion, but couldn't find anything. If any of you guys know where I can get some deep-fried scorpion, let me know. Or if eating scorpion is going to kill me, please let me know that also. I'm going to start now with some big quarterback injury news. This time was in the AFC. That's Tua's concussion last Thursday. This is probably the most disturbing concussion history we've seen in recent memory. Multiple instances of fencing for this guy, and this last one looked similar to seizure activity. It does seem that each concussion makes it more likely you'll get another one, but no one really knows why that's the case and why some people are just more prone to getting it than others. There's no way to measure or test for someone's threshold for getting a concussion. Lions fans saw this up close and personal with Javid Best, who had that severe concussion in college, got more in the NFL, and his last play in the NFL was getting concussed on a very routine tackle that happens to running backs multiple times during a game, and that's when you knew he couldn't play in the NFL anymore. In boxing, you euphemistically will rate boxers on how good their chin is, which is their ability to avoid getting knocked out. We all remember the Mike Tyson punch-out game with Glass Joe at the beginning. There's definitely a wide difference among humans' threshold to getting concussed. Most NFL players have a high threshold to getting concussed, meaning they have a good chin. And that's because of selection bias. Football players with bad chins are going to get weeded out way back in high school. There are positional exceptions like kickers who rarely take any hits. When you see a kicker have to make a tackle, it just seems like they get hurt at a way higher rate than other players. They'll tear their ACLs, get concussions all in the same play. The other position that doesn't get selected out as much anymore for having a bad chin is quarterback because of how much they're protected these days. College has the targeting rule now, and roughing the passer is called so tight these days that a guy with a bad chin could sneak his way through into the NFL. Maybe that's what's happened with Tua, is he always had a bad chin, and each time he gets a concussion now, that chin gets worse and worse to the point that he probably shouldn't play football anymore. There is a question about the guardian cap with Tua. He wasn't wearing one, and some people were suggesting maybe he should. Here's my thought on that. Maybe it helps, maybe it doesn't for him to wear a guardian cap. Theoretically, that little bit of extra padding should help absorb some of the forces, but maybe that extra weight and size increases the whiplash forces. When you look at Tua's concussion video, you saw his head whiplash back and hit the back of his head on the ground. For some reason, hitting the back of your head seems much more likely to cause a concussion than getting hit in the front of the head. There's a reason why it's illegal in boxing to hit people in the back of the head. Thus, with Tua's situation, a guardian cap might have actually even made his concussion worse. Lots we don't know still about the brain concussions, so too early to jump to any conclusions yet about the Guardian cap. All right, enough about other teams' players. Let's get to the Lions. Good news pregame of the Bucs game. Jamo, Sewell, and Kirby Joseph were all active. They were all questionable heading into the game. Unfortunately, in pregame, Ennis Rakestraw pulled his hamstring. Don't know the severity of that, but it did cause him to be inactive. Also, Marcus Davenport, as expected, was out with the groin. He had been doubtful for the game. Doubtful means out. He had played until the penultimate play last game, which is the second to last play. Just a note, I'm legally obligated to use that pretentious word penultimate because I played ultimate frisbee at the University of Pennsylvania. Because he played until the second to last play, the severity likely is not too bad, and the doubtful designation is actually a good sign that it's not too severe. There's a good chance he'll be up to a questionable for this week with a chance for playing this Sunday. At Bailey PB on X asked, do you know what the most common groin injuries are in the average missed time? Tough question to answer because the groin is an extremely complex area. The most likely injury is probably a muscle strain of the hip adductors or flexors. Also possible are a hernia, a pubic bone issue, a hip joint issue like Kirby Joseph had. Hip joint pain can cause groin pain. A core muscle issue can cause groin pain like Ennis Rakestraw. Even a spinal issue can cause radiating pain to the groin. Hopefully, a muscle strain is all that's going on with Marcus Davenport. As I said, the doubtful designation is a good sign. I would expect him to be questionable for this week with a chance to play. If not this week, he'll probably be ready the week after that. Also, James Houston was active for the first time this season. Unfortunately, he only got 3 snaps. So clearly, the coaches don't have a great plan for him and don't have a whole lot of confidence in him. Now let's get to the Bucs game recap. This week was similar to last year, week 2, when we lost at home to the Seahawks after a big week 1 win. A big difference is that we came out of this game much healthier than last year. Last year, we lost CJ, GJ, and James Houston for almost the entire year. Kirby Joseph hurt his hip and needed off-season surgery. Vaitai started his injury-filled season by hurting his left knee and missing 2 games. David Montgomery hurt his thigh and missed 1 game. This year, we're looking much healthier coming out of week 2. Let's start with Amon-Ra St. Brown in his left leg. There were 3 main videos of his injuries. In the first quarter, St. Brown's left leg gets pulled on a tackle, which could have caused a thigh strain or a groin muscle strain. Hard to say for sure. In the third quarter, there was a direct blow to the left thigh, likely causing a simple contusion and a Charlie horse. Charlie horse can cause spasming muscles and just be much more painful than the actual injury. It's also possible that that third quarter impact aggravated the previous injury he had in the first quarter. Then at the end of the game, end of the fourth quarter, his left leg gets pulled again on a tackle, possibly aggravating the initial injury. Adam Schefter reported on Monday, only contusion and cramping. That sounds like a Charlie horse situation, contusion of the thigh and cramping of the thigh. Dan Campbell in his Monday presser said it was a lower leg soft tissue injury. Technically, a lower leg means a calf area. I didn't see anything involving a calf in that area on video. I didn't see any signs of calf cramping on video. Not sure if Dan Cam was accurate when you said lower leg or not. On video, I think there's more to it than just contusion and cramping. I think there is a muscle strain going on in that left leg somewhere. I'm guessing the groin or the thigh, although a calf strain is a possibility too. So we'll see if Amon-Ra shows up on the Wednesday injury report. I suspect he does. It's also going to be interesting what body part is listed. If it's a groin, then likely we're dealing with a hip adductor or flexor muscle strain. If it's a thigh, then it could be a quad contusion or a strain. A calf might be a little bit more concerning as that could be a calf strain. Regardless, a mild muscle strain wouldn't be a long-term issue, but it could cause a missed game. Last year, Amon-Ra missed 1 game with an oblique muscle strain, and that was the Panthers game. He had 3 NPs, no practices leading up to that game. If he can get up to a LP by Wednesday or Thursday. I'd expect him to play Sunday, so keep a close eye on the reports this week. Next, we have Terrion Arnold. In the first quarter, he hurt his left index finger. You could see him after the play looking up at it. Dislocations are common in the NFL, and I'm suspecting that's what's going on here. He did finish the game with a splint that used the third finger as a buddy for support. Most dislocations heal within 3 to 6 weeks, and for a cornerback can be played through with protection like in this game with either buddy taping or a splint. Dan Campbell on Monday said that no significant issues with the finger and he should be fine. Next up is Alex Anzalone, who had a concussion in the third quarter. This was an officially diagnosed concussion. He took a brutal direct blow to his right jaw from Derek Barnes' helmet. There were no signs of fencing or loss of consciousness on video, which is a great sign. Hopefully that means a milder concussion. Now, despite the concussion, there's still a pretty good chance he could play this Sunday. Keep an eye on the Wednesday report. A limited practice means he's asymptomatic and leans towards him playing because he's progressing through the protocol. A no practice means he's still symptomatic and leans towards not playing this weekend. Next up, a couple minor issues. Jameson Williams in the fourth quarter after an interception. Jamo took a mild hit to the side of the head from Graham Glasgow's left arm. Nothing on video looked like a concussion. He finished the game without problems. No concussion symptoms have been reported so far, so he should be in the clear. Demo in the fourth quarter got up after getting tackled, not putting any weight on his right foot or ankle. The video was totally obscure, so couldn't see what happened. He left the game but returned later in the drive, which was reassuring. However, Jahmyr Gibbs played most of the rest of the game, so hard to say for sure if Demo is hurt or not. Let's see if he shows up on the Wednesday report. All right, that's it for today. Not going over the injury reports on Wednesday because I'm recording this on a Tuesday. Enjoy the game on Sunday. Kyler Murray and the Cardinals had a huge game last week. Kyler Murray had a knee issue last week on the report, but apparently he's perfectly fine. Talk to you guys next week.